महाराज, आपको कोई मीलों दूर से शतरंज में चुनौती देने आया है।
क्या क्या क्या? मैं आया हूं महाराज, आज मैं आपसे जीतने आया हूं। बेटा, जब तुम्हारी पैदाइश भी नहीं हुई थी तब से हम इस शतरंज की दुनिया के महाराजा। चलो, अगर तुम जीत जाते हो तो ये सारा साम्राज्य तुम्हारा हुआ।
महाराज, शे और मात, ये सब मेरा होगा।
वो देख, चिड़िया। इसका कोई जिक्र नहीं करेगा।
I want to talk about a specific business problem today, okay? I want to talk about how to win in an industry where the cost of manufacturing your product is zero, any kid with a laptop can compete with you, there are an infinite number of competitors, and there is zero defensibility. It seems really tough. How would you win in such an industry? Well, let me give you an example of a company that's done really well in exactly this situation. That company is chess.com. They crossed 100 million members this year and more than $100 million in revenue. That's about 800 crores in revenue in a market where there are probably hundreds of thousands of chess apps. Every kid who learns game development makes a chess clone in their first few weeks of work. It's trivial to make the game today, and there are so many free chess scripts available. And unlike our other case studies, they didn't win because of some distribution advantage. Keep watching to learn their secret. Chess.com has added more members in the last 1 year than the previous 10 years put together. According to Joe, this growth of Chess.com can be traced back to 2018 and is based on 4 pillars. One is Twitch. They became very popular on the streaming app. Number 2 is the COVID-19 pandemic. Number 3 is the Queen's Gambit, which is a Netflix show. And number 4 was weirdly Andrew Tate, constantly talking on podcasts about his father, who was a chess champion. Let me tell you a little bit about the history of chess.com first. It was founded in 2005 by 2 young folks, Eric Alabest and Jay Severson, and they were very clear that they were not going to raise funding. For them, this was a small bet, but the founders were very clear that brand was everything. You've heard us say again and again that distribution is the main thing for a company to look out for, but this was a company that took a completely different approach, overemphasizing on their brand. But none of this would be possible for them without the ability to make a chess game. Have you ever wondered who owns the copyright to chess? The answer is nobody. The game is rumored to have originated more than 1500 years ago, and it's born out of the Indian game Chaturanga, Shatranj, before the 600s AD. But people have tried to copyright the game or parts of it. For example, in the very first international chess tournament in London in 1851, they had a rule called Rule 12, which provided that because the recording and subsequent publication of copies of each whole game was considered at considerable expense of the tournament's managing committee, they said that it must be understood that no one will be allowed to publish any part of these recordings without the express sanction of the committee. Basically, streaming that is free now, this tournament hoster was trying to copyright it, but they didn't succeed. Eventually, a game and toy manufacturer named Jax of London introduced a new style of chess pieces because they found that while you can't copyright the game, you can make specific kind of chess pieces. These chess pieces were endorsed by the best player at the time, who was Howard Stoughton, and they quickly became popular. This was influencer marketing before the era of influencer marketing. After that, chess clocks were invented. That suddenly made the game very competitive. Till then, people used to take chess as a chill game. The minute clocks were invented, it became a competitive game. You could now start hosting tournaments that would last a certain amount of time. Before that, an average game could take very, very long. Now back to chess.com. The founder of chess.com actually ran two companies before chess.com, and both were chess related. The first was a chess tutoring business teaching kids how to play chess. Didn't work out so well. And the second business was a chess equipment business. He sold his second company for just $2.5 million and then made a ballsy move that won the entire chess world for them. He bought the chess.com domain for $55,000. Back then, $55,000 was a lot of money. That's right, he understood that most people back in the day didn't use any other type of domains. If you want to win in this space where there's so many competitors, you can't have chesskalo.com or whatever, you have to have chess.com. My mom, even today, types .com after every domain. And that's the secret. If you're in a space where there are too many players and you want to signal the highest quality and trust, buy a .com domain.
चलो फाइनली मैंने chess.com का डोमेन 55,000 में खरीद लिया. अभी मैं क्या करूंगा, चेस की दुनिया पे राज करूंगा, राज.
55,000 for a domain.
Yes.
Arey yala, I also bought this domain. Look, for 30 rupees only. KheloChess27.co.in.org/edu/Khelo abhi 27/4/2069 asterisk. And I got this for 20 rupees less because I applied a coupon code. I am stupid 99. You guys don't understand. Value some money, bro. Hey, तू वो chess.com वाला है ना?
और तू वो I am stupid 99?
अरे नहीं, अरे मैं वो खेलो चेस आज करे सो कल कर. नहीं, चेस के साथ खेलो. चेस मेरे साथ chesskhelo.com.
2 hours later.
चेस के साथ खेला चेस मेरे साथ मैंने किया चेस. नहीं, वो वाला तो उसका है. मेरा क्या था?
Another recent example of this is that OpenAI bought AI.com for $11 million. They didn't need to spend so much, they didn't need to do it, but it makes a ton of sense when you know competition is coming or already exists. Now back to Eric. At first, he and his co-founder built chess.com as a social network for chess. It wasn't actually a game. It was like Facebook for chess. And then they realized that they actually had to build the game because their users were asking for it. So they built it. In the words of the co-founder, this is what he said. From the very beginning, we had an unfair advantage in that we owned the chess.com domain name. Back then, when you were on Internet Explorer or Firefox, if you put the word chess in your browser bar and hit enter, it would directly take you to chess.com. Every day, we were getting thousands of free visits. We were signing up people at essentially no cost. Because we were doing a lot of content and people liked the site, we just became #1 for chess. And as soon as they launched a subscription product that taught people how to play chess on top of this, basically coaching, they became profitable. But that doesn't fully explain why it grew so recently. It's always been around for a long time, but recently is when they've really grown. Well, those 4 reasons that I mentioned. 1, Twitch blew up for them. Lots of new Twitch streamers came out and started growing. Hikaru Nakamura, a chess streamer, grew from 400k to 1.6 million subscribers on the platform, and he streamed nearly 6,000 hours in his career, which means that he's had a consistent viewer base for a while. To win Twitch, you have to host tournaments, and chess.com started hosting something called PogChamps, an amateur tournament. And even though this tournament pissed off professional players because it would get massive viewership and professional players don't like that, it brought in new players. I mean, if you get players like Ludwig or MrBeast who are actual influencers to play, they're obviously going to pull more views than a regular professional. Pros hated it, but it worked for chess.com.
Hi guys, welcome to PogChamp. Are you ready for the most intense game of chess you've ever seen in your life?
ऐसे थोड़ी खेलते हैं।
बहुत इंटेंस गेम चल रहा है। छक्का।
The second one is COVID. I mean, this one is obvious. You're sitting at home, you have nothing to do, you have internet access. What do? Play chess. The third one was Queen's Gambit. The Queen's Gambit set the record as the most watched scripted limited series to date on Netflix, with 62 million member accounts tuning into the show in the first 28 days, according to the company. Finally, Andrew Tate constantly speaking about chess and his father being a chess champ gave credibility to chess.com. Because when you type chess into Google, the first link is chess.com because Google always gives precedence to an exact word domain name match with the .com extension. So if you're looking for cars and you have cars.com, Google will almost always show your link first. And the fifth reason is all the cheating scandals. It's always good masala to see your favorite influencer getting thrashed online for cheating in a chess game. Well, that's about it. To win in a competitive market, you need to be the #1 search result on Google, and the easiest way to do that is to buy a top-level .com domain. That's how chess.com won in a competitive environment, and that's it for me. Don't forget to subscribe for more awesome content.